You are listening to The Art of Sales. Everyone sells every day, and this is your source for conversational, real-world sales and prospecting methods that you are comfortable using and that get results. You'll help people buy instead of pushing them into being sold. Here's your host, Art Subcheck.
If your goal is to set appointments on your prospecting calls, don't believe the garbage that floats around out there where some people say, all you want to do on that initial call is just get the appointment. Just go for the appointment. So let me share a story here that substantiates something that I've been preaching for years. So Tom is an outside sales rep who takes a prospecting day each week to set his appointments for the next week. Now, his calls consist of getting on and off the phone as quickly as possible because basically he's just saying he's going to be in the area and he would like to stop in and meet with the decision maker, which is not a good strategy, by the way. So he bangs out calls all day long and manages to set a couple of appointments per day for the next week. And he thinks that's good. Well, most of his meetings consist of the prospect meeting him in the lobby and saying, I've got 2 minutes. What do you have? Let's look at Karen. Karen's a business development rep, and she prospects all day long, every day, to set up web demos for her account manager. Now, Karen's tenacious. She's focused. She places more calls per day than anyone in her office, and she hits her quota every day for setting up the demos. But only about a third of the people actually show up for the demos. Frustrating, right? Ever been there? And these painful scenarios can and should be avoided. And they're avoided by not just having the just set the appointment mentality, and instead by following a few very simple best practices to get more quality engagements that convert. Which really, at the end of the day, is what really matters the most, right? So let's look at a scenario that will show you how to do this. So let's take a case study. So there's a sales rep for a debt recovery service who contacted me looking for help in getting appointments by phone. And his service speeds up the slow paying accounts receivables that are beyond the 60 to 90 days past due and collects bad checks, yeah, people still write checks, for a flat fee of less than $10 each. So we started by looking at his existing opening statements for his prospecting calls, and it went like this. Hello, this is his name from his company name. I work as a consultant for IBM, SAP, and other major companies, and I help them recover their slow-paying accounts receivables and even bad checks for less than $10 per situation. We take no percentage, and all the money comes directly to you. And I'd like to meet with you and discuss how we might be able to help your organization. Now, my reaction was that opening had a little bit of hope. It contained results that could generate some interest. Now, the first suggestion was taking out the mention of $10 and instead saying a small flat rates and putting it after the mention of the benefit. So, for example, I help them recover their slow-paying accounts receivable and even their bad checks. And what's different is that we take no percentage and all the money comes directly to you. Our service is based on a small flat rate per situation, regardless of how much we collect for you. The rationale here is that by giving the result first, we get their interest before talking about their cost. And by not mentioning the actual cost, they likely become curious as to how much it is, which keeps them in the conversation. My next suggestion is to proceed into questioning and definitely not ask for nor even hint at an appointment or a meeting. Asking for a decision or a commitment for their time this early before they even see a good reason to stay on the phone with you, that's got a great chance for resistance. Now, I could hear some old school outside sales reps out there screaming, "You can only use the phone to set an appointment, no more." Well, of course, in reality, that's flawed thinking and behavior, and it's proven every day. I mean, after all, it's better to go see someone who's qualified and somewhat interested, and the more interested, the better, right? Than to waste travel and lobby time to learn that they're not interested. I mean, we can find that out pretty quickly by phone and reemploy that time with more calls, right? And by the way, for people who practice the first call is just to set up the second longer call, I think that's crazy as well. I mean, really, there are people out there that say, oh, once you get somebody on the call, just get the appointment, get off the phone as quickly as possible to set up the second call. I mean, come on, it's hard enough to get someone on the phone the first time, isn't it? That's one of the biggest challenges that salespeople face. Why would we squander that opportunity by saying we just want to set up another call? All right, next we want to move to the questioning. And to plan for the effective questioning on prospecting calls, I suggest an exercise. First of all, what you want to do is you want to list all the advantages and benefits and results that your product or service delivers. Then for each, we want to brainstorm what situation or problem a customer would have to experience in order for that to truly be a benefit. Because after all, benefits are not universal. They're only benefits if the listener thinks they are at the very moment they're hearing it. So what we want to do then is think of questions that would help determine if that need or situation exists. Then think of questions to ask that would help determine if that need or situation exists. If the questions reveal that it does, then layer on more questions. For example, let's say with our example here that the main benefit is the flat $10 fee, saving the typical 30 to 50% of the collected proceeds and helping them recover more cash. Now, for them to be interested, obviously, they would have to either be paying the higher percentage amount now and giving up lots of cash, or not even using agencies because they don't want to pay that much, and therefore also letting their receivables get old and eventually writing them off. So a first question that we came up with would be general, such as, how are you handling your past dues now? And if they say they're using an agency, oh, well, what percentage are they keeping? Then next question. Well, how much per transaction is that usually? And then another question would be, over the course of a year, what's that total? Then you want to continue embellishing the pain and attaching numbers to it wherever you can. Assuming the answers reveal a significant amount of cash the company's not getting, now they would likely be a candidate for hearing about the service, since they're thinking about the problem paying all that money. So therefore, it'd be appropriate to tease them with the benefits the service can offer, and then go for the appointment. For example, so Pat, it seems to me that based on the numbers you've just shared, we could save you as much as, then you would give a number, on your receivables, plus there are a few other areas we could help make your past due situation less of a problem and a hassle for you. So here's what I recommend. I recommend we get together. I'd like to learn a little bit more about your situation, and then you would ask for the appointment. Okay, I'm never going to argue that face-to-face selling is the most effective way to sell because you have all of your means of communication available to you. Of course, most notably your physical presence. However, it's by far the most costly way to sell as well. So therefore, by being more effective by phone and taking the process further, you increase your chances for success. And the same thing applies even if your next meeting is going to be online or another phone call. Okay, so hey, you know what time it is.
Your attitude will be in every way, you'll never feel what they say. It's the art of the sales quote of the day.
That's right, it's time for the quote of the day. And today's quote is one that I use all the time, and it's directly related to what we're talking about here. And my quote is this: if the music is still playing, stay on the dance floor. That's right, which means that if the call's going well, why would you jump off? So if the music's still playing, why would you leave the dance floor? Hey, if you're interested in how you can follow up more effectively with the people that you have already spoken with at least once, or you've met with or sent a proposal or price quote to, and want to get more of them to respond to you and not ignore you, and if you also want to move to close more quickly, I've got a 55-minute audio training that will help you do just that, and a bonus video called 50 Shades of Delay that will help you to handle resistance, put-offs, blow-offs, and objections. And the great news is I'm almost giving it away. So to see complete details on this, go to either the show notes page for this episode, or you can go to this special page. Get a pen here. It's theartofsales.com/follow-up. And that's all one word. theartofsales.com/follow-up, all one word. All right. Hey, thank you so much for investing your valuable time with me. Until next time, go out and make it your best sales day ever. I'm Art Sobczak.